There's just one thing that you need to go from a reactive partner to a strategic leader. In this video, we are going to cover the 4 simple rules that top teams in tech companies are applying to be more strategic, protect their focus and their time, and creating a higher value for the company. I am Daniel Agudelo, and this is Daniel OS. When you are starting working in tech, you will need something from other teams. You will need to make requests. The first time I had to make a request for one of these teams, I realized that they were making it complicated for me to make that request. I didn't understand why, and I felt super frustrated because they were asking a lot of questions I didn't have answers to. Things like how success looks like, who is this going to affect, what happens if we do it, or what happens if we don't do it, what is going to be the value that this is creating for the company. So I didn't understand why those questions were there, and I didn't have the answers for them. I felt super frustrated, and I have to recognize that sometimes I inflated my tickets in order for them to be prioritized by those teams. Years later, I became responsible of the task management system of my team. And the first thing I realized is that we didn't have a system at all. We were just receiving tickets and working tickets. There were many things that were not working with this. We felt super frustrated because we felt that we were doing a lot, but things were not actually moving. And there was one thing that annoyed me a lot, and it's that when we were talking with management, with executives about the things that we were doing, we really didn't have a way to prove the impact of the things that we were doing. Because of course, we were helping people. Someone from marketing or from revenue operations was requesting us to do something, and we were helping, and those things were adding value somehow, but it was their value, not our value. And the only thing I had to prove the things that I was doing was the amount of tickets that I was closing. So this is when I realized that I had to create a system. And I started checking about what all those teams that were making it complicated for me were doing. And I found that they are following just 4 simple rules that I'm going to share with you today. Rule number 1, the single door. So my team was receiving requests from every possible channel that we had, even if it was a Slack, email, phone call. Any kind of conversation that we were having with any stakeholder could be the possibility to get new tasks. And the thing is that all those hidden tasks, hidden work, was not even being logged in our board, meaning that we were so busy not only doing the things that were arriving into our board, but also doing the things that people were requesting outside the board. The best teams actually have just one place to receive those requests. You name it. It can be a form, it can be a portal, it can be a platform, whatever it is. It can be even a Google Sheets. But the important thing is that you have just one place where people is adding what they need for you, and a place that you can go and check what are those things that you have to do. By enforcing this, you're going to start centralizing the requests in just one place, making sure that you have the visibility about what's coming and the things that your team is doing. Also, it is important to mention that this is going to challenge you, your team, and your stakeholders to start working and thinking different. No more, hey, can you do me a quick favor? And you just jump in and doing the favor. But if someone is requesting whatever, you're just going to send the URL and send, please create a ticket for me here. And this is going to be the first step for you and your team to get control of your operations. Rule number 2, the time lock. My team was working in an infinite loop, and it was unsustainable. Everything that was arriving in our board, it was being assigned and worked. So we started checking what other teams were doing. And we realized that one of the most interesting things that we could implement was coming from the agile methodologies. And this is working in closed time windows. This is closing 2 weeks to receive requests, define the request that you are going to work with, and then lock it. Nothing else can get into this planned work, and during the time that you are working, let's say the 2 window week that you're working, you're going to receive the requests that are going to be included in the next cycle. The main benefit of applying this is that you will start working only in a limited amount of things during that cycle. Rule number 3, strategic friction. So I finally understood what was the role of those uncomfortable questions that I was being asked. And it's just to make people think about the things that they are going to request. By challenging them, you make sure that only the most important things are going to make it to your board. But this feels backwards, because when you're thinking about a team and a company, you feel that everyone should be easy and accessible, and that everything that you need should be done, right? However, the reality is very different. Time and resources are scarce, and we need to make sure that we are dedicating those resources to the right things in order to make the company grow. So by adding a strategic friction on purpose and making questions, you are going to get two main benefits. The first is that you are going to be able to categorize the task. And the second is that you will have enough information to prioritize the ticket accordingly. Rule number 4, the capacity budget. If you're taking anything from this video, try to take this rule. The capacity budget talks about the time that you're dedicating to working the things that matter for your team, instead of the requests that you're getting from other teams. When my team was working 100% reactive, we didn't have time to work in the things that were important for us. We knew that we had things to improve. We knew that our systems maybe were not correct or our processes were failing. However, we didn't have the time to fix those things, even though we knew that by doing that, by fixing those issues, we could create more value for the company and help better our stakeholders. In the previous rule, you define what is a cycle and what are the amount of things that you can do on every cycle. Now, the capacity budget, what it's saying is that you should dedicate some time in each cycle to work on the things that matter for your team. So this is reducing the 100% of the time that you're dedicating to the operational work that you have, and dedicate 20-30% of that time to do strategic work for your team. When we implemented a capacity budget for my team, we started using that time to analyze the things that we were receiving and looking for patterns, for things that were requested very often, and fix the root cause of those issues. The second thing that we did was to start seeing how we could enable people to self-serve, because we were getting a lot of different requests that maybe people could do by themselves. And with this, we will remove ourselves being the bottleneck for them. For me, this is the most important rule, because your team will go from reactive to strategic. You can start having conversations with management and executives about the things that you need, about the resources that you are missing, about that vision that you have and where you want to take your team. Now, let us step back and check everything that we have discussed today. There are three main things that you're going to achieve by implementing a system like this. One is that you're going to protect your focus. 2, you're going to protect your time. And 3, you're going to become a strategic team. And you're going to do this by following the 4 simple rules that I have shared. The first is the one single door. And it's just about having just one place to receive the requests that other teams are making to your team. The second is the time log. And it's just about defining the cycles that you and your team are going to be working on. The third is the strategic friction. And this is about thinking the questions that you want to make in your form to make sure that 1, you have enough information to categorize the task, and 2, you will have enough information to prioritize the task. And 4, the capacity budget. And this one is just about making sure that you are dedicating time to work on the things that matter for your team. If you want to learn how tech companies work inside and the insights that you can apply in your own business, subscribe.